Hey everybody, welcome to the Vision Cast. Joel Penton here, founder and CEO of LifeWise Academy. On the Vision Cast, we talk about our big picture and do some LifeWise storytelling. Today, we're going to talk about excellence, the S-curve of excellence. You know that we like to talk about excellence. We believe we are ambassadors of the King of the universe, and so we want to represent him well. We are competitors in the marketplace of ideas, and so we want to compete with excellence. We believe we honor and glorify God when we conduct ourselves with excellence, and so LifeWise is always striving for excellence. And I actually have something I want to share with you. We are going to look at a fun graph about ROI and excellence. And so when we pursue excellence, when we make investments toward excellence, as we make sacrifices of time and energy and even finances, whether you're a volunteer or a donor or a leader of some sort, we are always looking for ROI, which means return on investment. We want to see those sacrifices, that investment, pay off, not in terms of a financial return or something, but we want to see it pay off in terms of impact. And so we have a graph here that shows a little bit about ROI and excellence. As you can see on the kind of the vertical part of the graph is measuring impact, and the horizontal part of the graph is resources invested, or you could even say sacrifices invested or sacrifices made. And the way most people think about return on investment is people think you get out of something what you put into something. And so they think if I put in a little bit of investment or a little bit of sacrifice, I'll get out a little bit of impact. I put in more sacrifice, I get a little more impact. I put in a lot, I'll get a lot. However, that is not really how ROI and excellence works. There are some people that talk about the 80-20 rule, and they say what you really need to do is identify that 20% you need to invest, that 20% of time, that 20% of energy you need to put in that will get you the 80% return. And there are times, and there are particular instances when that is true, that you can identify this 20% that will get an 80% return. However, I would argue that is rarely the case, especially when it comes to complex projects. That in fact, the truth with this whole return on investment is that excellence is an S-curve. Let me show you what pursuing excellence really looks like. The truth is that to achieve a real impact, to achieve real results, you usually have to put in a lot of investment on the front end. There's this long tail on this S-curve that you have to develop things, you have to think through things, you have to churn out a lot of productivity before you start to see any real impact. And so that kind of long S-curve is what we call the barriers to entry. With a lot of projects, especially a project like LifeWise, there's these barriers to entry. You got to figure out all these many, many different things before you start to see any results, any impact whatsoever. But if you're willing to put those in, you will start to see an impact. However, here's what happens. People get tired through that initial phase of overcoming the barriers to entry. And many people, and if you can read it says where most people stop. Where most people stop after they've overcome those barriers to entry, as soon as they start to see some impact, they're so tired that they will stop right there and they'll say, okay, I'm starting to see the impact. What few people realize is that you need to keep pressing forward. And if you will press forward, you will hit an inflection point. And if you push for excellence, all of a sudden you will see a massive return, a massive ROI. You'll see massive impact. And so what we want to do is get through those barriers to entry, get through the average zone, and push all the way to that excellence zone. Ultimately, there will be there's the law of diminishing returns that you can kind of stop, but don't stop until you push forward. And I say you need to hit 80 or 90% of investment before you even start to see the massive impact. And so anyway, my hope is that this is an encouragement to you. If maybe you're working on LifeWise or working on a complex issue and you're saying, hey, I'm having to put in so much before I'm seeing any real impact, just know that that is normal. Be encouraged. Keep pushing forward for excellence. When you do, you will eventually see a massive, massive impact. That is our big picture segment for the day. And now we get to spend some time doing a LifeWise storytelling, because on the phone we have Matt, who is our program director at Perkins. Matt, are you there?
I am here, Joel.
Matt, thanks for joining us, and thank you for your service serving the students in Perkins. And so will you just start by telling us a little bit about yourself, maybe your LifeWise story, how you got connected?
Sure. Yeah, I'm married to Ashley. I have 5 kids. I have ages 17, 16, 9, and the twins are 7. It's 4 girls and a boy. So I got connected through our church, the chapel in Sandusky. LifeWise came and presented the program, and my wife is on staff there. She asked, Matt, I think you'd be great for the board. And I joined the board in 2023, and then a year later, I found myself as the program director.
That's awesome. And wow, I'm so touched to hear that you have 5 children, and your spread is pretty similar to mine. I've got 15 down to 7. I think I just heard you say 17 down to 7. Is that right?
Yes, that's right.
Of course, we have the inverted genders there. You've got the 4 girls and a boy, if I heard you right, and I've got 4 boys and a girl. And so that
Yes.
you've got quite an active household, but maybe not as much blood as my household, because my kids are
Right.
my boys are trying to hurt themselves every day.
Yeah, maybe some more hair on the ground from the hair pulling with the girls. It gets a little, it gets difficult at times, but I can see what you're saying.
There you go. Well, I come from a family where I have 3 older sisters, and so I know all of the words to, all of the different musicals and whatnot, and I have my sisters to thank. So I'm guessing that you get your fair share of the more feminine movie selections and that type of thing.
Yes, absolutely, and the dances and all that.
Oh, the
Yes, for
dances.
sure.
Wonderful. Well, Matt, again, can't thank you enough for serving. And I know you sent in a story that came through that I read, and I assume you're going to tell the same one about a bus. Tell us a little bit about this bus.
Yeah, so last year at our end of year event, we had a program at one of our churches at Faith Church, and I was going around just meeting some of the families, and there was a table with 2 people, and this woman, she stopped me and said, is that Aaron here? He's been praying for this bus. And I said, oh, really? I said, tell me about it. And, Aaron's mom was working, so he was there with his aunt, and he said, well, look, and he pulled up his phone, and there was the app that we had been following on one of our fundraisers was, I think it was $5,000. And he says, are we going to get there? And with sincerity, he said, I really want our bus. I want to be able to go to 6th grade, because he was in 5th grade, and to get to 6th grade, we needed a bus.
Right.
And so we set out as a board and realized, this is having an impact on these kids, and they are loving it, and they want to, advance through the years. And so we set out, and I told Aaron that day, I said, I'll tell you what, I said, when we get this bus, you're going to be the first one to ride it. And he looked at me, and he was excited. And throughout the summer, I'd been keeping in touch with his mom and asked if it was okay if, when we get this bus. And we found when we went through the process, we have it now. It's painted, it's branded, it's ready to go. And in about, 2 weeks from yesterday, September 16th, we're going to have we've closed the RSVPs because the bus is full. So we're going to have a ride around town.
Oh, sweet. So you're gonna have this maiden voyage of the bus, and this student is going to be riding, and what are the plans for this initial drive?
So we'll be in the church at New Life Church, one of our partner churches, and we will have a quick meal. We'll have Chick-fil-A, a box meal. We'll have that. We'll have a time of prayer, some storytelling, and then we'll get on the bus, and we're going to go to this new middle school, Briar Middle School, and we're going to have some prayer time there and really pray over the building and the administrators, the teachers, the students. We're going to spend some time at a couple other schools, time permitting, and spend some time praying there too, just for our current existing program. And we're just really excited about it. There's a lot of anticipation, a lot of excitement growing, and we're just going to be, happier. There's a family in a neighboring LifeWise community in Castalia. They're going to come. A 13-year-old lost his life. So his mom, he died in an accident with his dad and his grandpa. And she loves LifeWise, and she's going to bring Connor's book and his vigil, and we are going to spend time with her because she really wants to support this event. And it's amazing. That's just another story for another day, but it's just amazing what happened in that child's life because of LifeWise. And we know that he is now in heaven.
Yeah, and I tell you, I mean, the concept is just so touching. It's so funny because it's a bus, right? It's a bus, but it means so much, right? It means those sixth graders can now study the Bible during school hours. It symbolizes so much, and I love to hear about all the different ways the community's plugging in, and you're going to be praying, and I'm starting to see photos from other places of, people gathering at the LifeWise classrooms, and in fact, I saw one of a country church that's being used, and the community came and they linked arms and formed this huge chain circle around the entire church building and prayed together. But to see these tangible things that the Lord has given us that we as the church can gather around, and it kind of think of it as the trellis on which this vine of real spiritual fellowship and mission and relationships can grow, is awesome. And so I'm just excited for you and excited for your community and grateful for you. So, Matt, you get to see impact now as students are in the program. How does it feel to be a part of LifeWise, to see the Word of God in the lives of students? How has it been impacting you?
Yeah, me personally, there's challenges. Any program director will tell you that there's challenges. There's ups and downs. There's times of opposition. And, even this Sunday morning, our pastor's wife sent me a text and said, did you see this? Did you see this post? And it was just such an encouraging post on Facebook about how her son was telling her this Bible story. And she said, well, where'd you learn that? And he said, LifeWise. And, and she just went on and on. But the community rallied behind that post and shared it, liked it, commented. And I just took that. I printed it. I put it. I have a little LifeWise office, and I put that down there as a reminder for when that opposition flares up. It's just really, those are the, if I get one or two of those, and, amongst all the other things, it just really encourages my faith. It's like helping me to grow in my faith and to share it more. It's just been wonderful.
Yeah. Yeah, it is encouraging to see those things. And, it is interesting how tempted we are to get discouraged if we hear a few things here or there. And when there's this sea of encouraging things, of lives being impacted, of people being changed. And so, yeah, it's kind of the Lord to encourage us with those little glimpses here and there. The truth is that even if we never saw the impact of the gospel, we would be, it's still our honor and our duty, to share the gospel. Yeah. But the fact that the Lord would show us that impact is so kind. Well, Matt, couldn't be more grateful for you and for your service and for being on the Vision Cast as well. Thanks, Matt.
All right, you're welcome.
All right, everybody. Thanks for joining us for the Vision Cast, and we'll see you next week.